These bitches on. Dude, our numbers on TikTok aren't like horrible. Like it was like
100 views.
No, it's like I think it's like 700 a video.
Huge, making an impact.
With 0 followers is pretty good.
That's great. You want to stay into people guessing what's up.
I know.
What's new with your life? Chad Sachs, deal author. Your croquet tournament with that.
Dude, the shirt is fire.
It is. It is. I'm jealous.
Don't deny that this shirt.
I would love to play croquet in that shirt.
You can on this lawn right here.
Oh, beautiful.
I don't know, dude. Lots of stuff going on. We didn't even talk about what we were going to talk about, which we never do, actually.
Classic. Yeah, we still have a format now where we like recap the last week and then do this whole thing cycles events. Anyway, like whatever. Stuff happens.
What did we talk about, or what did we do last week? Whatever. We can cut whatever we want to. Let's talk about Chad stacks. I know you have like a different Chad stack that you're working on. I think we need to make Chad stacks a thing. Honestly,
Chad stacks are crucial.
Chad stacks.
Like if I follow a Chad stack versus I don't for the day, like it's makes all the difference. It's killer. Like it's the difference between I want to like jump off my balcony versus like, wow, like my business is crushing.
Yeah.
So I honestly forgot what my Chat stack was. So
you
to give me a second to think.
Pound concentrated cold brew immediately upon waking up. That was your Chat stack.
Oh yeah. Pretty solid. Honestly, what I do now is wake up earlier, usually by 6, and then I go to like the gym to lift weights. And I'm still convinced I don't do the concentrate, but I'll drink like an energy drink or a pre-workout.
Yeah.
It's not the Huberman protocol, but I'm like drinking caffeine right away when you wake up, like gets me out of bed. Like I'm excited. Like it gets you going. And I feel like that in itself, it's like, otherwise, like I don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
If I know a pre-workout's on the way, getting out of bed for sure.
That's what gets you up, the pre-workout.
Yeah. And then by the time I'm at the gym, pre-workout pumping, music pumping, did a few deadlifts, lift some heavy weights, like we're in it.
What do you say in your brain to yourself when you're like in bed and you want to get out of bed?
I'm already getting out of bed.
Oh, you just do it. Something clicks.
I'm so excited to go like lift heavy weights. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Other thing I've been doing is like super disciplined about turning on like the red light, and then like very like cognizant about doing that literally an hour before bed, which is super hard. Like I don't know what to do with my life. Like read a book, like that's for an hour, that's crazy. So that's like,
no screen time, right? An hour before bed?
Yeah.
Do you actually do that?
I try it. It's really hard.
Do you ever actually do it though?
Yeah, I have done it like 2 out of the 5 times this week.
Wow.
It's just like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. What about you, man?
I try to do that too. It never works out because then you always have your notification silent. So maybe it's easier for you, but like I get dinged and then I'm like, fuck, I have to work on something for 30 minutes at 11:30 p.m. Mm-hmm. My Chad stack is still green tea, although I do mix in some espresso. I've cut back on the nicotine gum. It's really only when I'm in the office. It doesn't get you sharp, but it gets you motivated. So it is like a little bit of a high and you're like amped to finish this project, but it has to be a mindless project.
That's like all stimulants now.
Yeah.
They don't really do anything. Like they just convince you that what you're doing is like they just give you
that's what you need. You need the motivation.
Yeah.
People I feel like aren't motivated now to do shit. And that's why everyone's just like drained from dopamine and all they just want is like a new dopamine hit and they need some motivation to do something.
Yeah. I feel like the hardest thing is determining what is most important to do and like knowing, like picking the right thing to do is like it's extremely challenging.
Yeah. And not even like in life, but like in this moment of time, it's always, the opportunity costs and mitigating those opportunity costs and maximizing your actual potential. Like that's how you make it in life.
Yeah. I mean, I've been like thinking a lot about like how can I expose myself to have like more clear ways of thought or just like.
Should we talk about meditation and open and.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Breath work?
Yeah.
Well, so basically, we've been going to open doing breath work every week and it really sort of blasts into your mind some kind of, I don't know, like a supernatural reality. I think it brings a clarity to people who don't already meditate. It gives them something that, I don't know, how would you describe, breath work, the open breath work for someone who doesn't really meditate? It kind of like, it hits you and it gives you an elevated sense of mindfulness that you probably just wouldn't achieve if you just were to meditate on your own for a decade. And it just blasts it into your brain in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's layers to it. Like most of the day, you're not even taking full breaths. And this is meditation. You take full breaths, but this is literally like working out, going into breathing. And it does, like you're right, unlock like a different sense of clarity, mindset. You just get a whole different state from an hour doing it. Why do you keep coming back to it?
I think for me, it's the thing that you're constantly tapping into. And I believe in the collective consciousness. I believe in the evolution of consciousness. And I believe that we are actually all connected and that all, matter and energy are one thing and that we're constantly on this path to realizing that. And that is sort of self-actualization or, the realization of what is maybe true. And then you can make it religious and say that's like you connecting to God. You believe in that sort of thing. But I've been meditating for 20 years and I've achieved what I felt like was enlightenment one time. And then I stopped meditating for like 5 years after that.
Right. One time is a lot more than most people.
Yeah. And
what was that like?
Well, it's like, it's what I just said, which is like, it's the realization that we are all connected. And how does that manifest into your daily life? Well, it just makes you more compassionate and more empathetic and more loving towards all beings, right? But it's got like a half-life to it. So like it wears off very quickly. And so you're just left going back to your daily life, listening to rap music and like, watching movies where like people are killing each other and you're like, that's totally cool. Eating meat and all that stuff,
Yeah. Do you think like having compassion is like correlated with like a good life, making money, being healthy?
I think so. I think, putting good energy out there brings good energy back. I believe in karma, but it's hard to reach those states of being if you're not meditating all the time, if you're not practicing all the time. And breath work is sort of like a shortcut. To me, you get back to that state and it is like a high and you tap into something. You don't know what it is, but you feel very clear about the thoughts and feelings that you have. And it helps you decide what's important in life, because not everything's important. We talk a lot about opportunity cost, and if things aren't important, you got to cut them out.
You mentioned like a few times ago that you like were like chasing another high at breathwork. Like,
yeah.
Did you do that last time? / like how did that go?
I didn't. So yeah, I was trying to like in breathwork, you're holding your breath and you're trying to like stretch yourself further and further. And I felt like to me, I could get deeper and deeper into that thing, or I'd have like more and more of, an enduring high, I guess. Like it's like an addiction. Hey, yeah, of course you want to achieve enlightenment and and hold on to it for as long as possible.
For sure. Yeah.
But it's not actually about that. You have to realize that you're not going to live in nirvana 24/7. You're going to come back to reality.
I had such a like hard time falling asleep recently because like I couldn't accept like letting go of the day. Like it was so exciting to like see like my projects have more success, like meeting new people that I'm psyched to like hang out with, like planning these trips, like, and it was so hard to be like, all right, I'm gonna chill now. Like I just wanted to keep doing that. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like knowing like it's gonna come with a low.
But you can also be excited to wake up the next day. I know what you mean though. It's like hard to go to sleep. You get a second wind and then you're just like, you want to keep going.
Yeah.
And then you burn yourself out.
Yep. Yeah. Do you ever think about like there's something like if you could literally live in compassion all the time, like be content theoretically, right? Like how do you balance that with like getting shit done and making money? Like for me, like I don't accept the fact that like I make myself only be happy if I attain certain goals because I want to attain those goals. It feels like one that out.
It's a really good question. I mean, there's a balance between, you could say there's a balance between compassion and capitalism. I'm not sure if I actually believe that. People think that capitalism is this thing that's constantly extracting value from others. People think that, billionaires only exist because they made their money on the backs of all the workers. Yeah. And I don't believe that. I think that's zero-sum thinking. And if you think in positive sum terms, you can have compassion for the customer. You're trying to solve a problem. All business and startups we're just trying to solve a problem that's never been solved before.
For sure.
And by having compassion for the customer and having compassion for yourself and having compassion for the product that you're putting out there, it's going to make, it's like you're putting love out into the world and then and you're going to receive that back.
So I heard someone say something like that business is all empathy and it's a matter of like understanding your customers. It's a matter of like working with others and like maintaining relationships. And like the better you get at like that, the better your like business will be because it's inherently like listening to others and hearing like what will give them value, hearing them out. Because if you just try to like create something without talking to them, you're not going to.
No, dude, you're so right. That is business. I had this thought the other day. Business is extroversion and then art is introversion. And maybe the art is introversion is sort of, it doesn't matter. Art can be extroversion too.
Interesting.
But art is, you're looking into your internal creativity and you're making something and then maybe you put it out there and people like it or they don't like it. Sure. But business does not function without other people. Business inherently requires you to network and deal make with other people and you're going to be more apt to get deals with them.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of similar though to music? Like you had an experience and you made like music to like represent your emotions. Like that's how you're supposed to come up with a good idea though, right? Like you focus on your own problems in life and create something that helps you and then maybe other people resonate with it. So is it really that much different?
Well, you can cross both of them together. 50 Cent 50 Cent had an amazing quote on this because 50 Cent was all about making money. And he was like,
why did he name himself 50 Cent? That's a lot of money.
Well, a lot of 50 cents put together. Yes. But 50 Cent was notorious for just like stealing other people's sort of ideas. Like he stole Snoop Dogg's thing about smoking weed. He stole like someone else's thing about about like making romantic music for girls. He stole like the thug life sort of thing. And so 50 Cent's like, I can do any persona. And he was very open about, hey, I'm doing this to make pop music to make money.
Yeah.
And then the quote that was funny to me, he's like, if you made that shit for yourself, you should have kept it in your headphones and like not shown it to anybody. Now that's antithetical to like artistry and creativity. You want to make it for yourself and then you want to explore it to the world.
Yeah.
But it's funny that like he had that mindset of like, this isn't actually art. This is a product that I'm putting out there for the world.
Yeah. That's interesting. I feel like that's not very respectable.
Like, is that a shady thing to do? I don't know. People enjoyed his music and like they paid him for it.
I suppose like he must have created some value.
It's a business transaction.
Yeah.
Got him vitamin water.
I mean, I feel like everything's always a copy, right? Like it's never an original.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to the Acquired Facebook episode. Super good, by the way.
I've never seen it, no.
Yeah, because like the story people know is from Social Network, right?
Yeah.
And like this dramatized version, which is pretty accurate, but there's like small little nuggets like you've never heard of. And it's still wild to think that like Facebook was not the first social network we created like at all. Friendster was massive before. It was backed by the biggest VCs in Silicon Valley. Not only that, there was like many schools already tried a digital version of their Facebook or like a directory of students and it never worked. But like Facebook was probably the 500th try at creating like a social network. But Zuck just knew how to build the product and like build the network effects into it and what people wanted. So maybe it's like 50 Cent. Like 50 Cent took these things that already existed, added some like sauce to it, and that resonated with them.
Some people, some artists don't want to make money. They're anti-capitalist, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's like...
And, Zuck is an ultra-capitalist. What ended up being was it Zuck product or was it he just like better at distributing? Or was it just luck? I don't want to say it was luck.
Yeah, I mean, there's some luck involved, right? Like Zuck went to Harvard. Zuck got set up to go to Harvard. Zuck met the right people, but he's probably talented, right? Like you never know, but some of the main conjectures are like the Harvard network is like one of the most reputable like groups in the world.
Yeah.
And it has really strong viral effects. Like Friendster didn't because it was randos and like you wouldn't want to share like your personal life with a rando across the world, but you would with like your college roommates.
Yeah.
And then it had this prestige and like tight networks. And when they launched at Cambridge, they launched them in separate networks. So they focused like on very strong, like trusting systems before merging the system together.
Yeah.
And by the time you launch at all the most reputable schools, you have the best brand name. And then like, that's when you get the best engineers and like sisters products.
Yeah. Starting with the Harvard brand name, honestly, was like going to be a big kick.
It's also crazy that they invented the newsfeed. Like they had to invent social media.
Yeah.
And these things didn't exist. And something that stuck with me is when they first rolled out the newsfeed, so many users signed up for a petition to like cancel the newsfeed.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah. Like they didn't like it.
Yeah. And like everyone pushed back. Like everyone on the executive team, like board of advisors pushed back. But Zuck had a controlling share of Facebook. So like he just kept with it. And like weeks later, what do you know? Like everyone loves the newsfeed. And it's like now we only use newsfeeds.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like
you get to apply the founder mode.
Yeah. Like having the confidence to see like what people want even before they accept it.
That's hard to do. I feel like a lot of people do that. I feel like I tried to do that with Content Squared. I'm like, you guys don't understand.
Yeah.
You need this. And then they tell you that we don't actually.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess there's like a difference between maybe that'll never be the truth. I feel like you just need anything super like worthwhile that you build will be not acceptable at first. Or even like the best investments I've been thinking about is like, what am I not even thinking about now that I would want to invest in that like no one is excited to think about? Like it's always going to be the best return.
Yeah. You're never going to know because you can't think about it because you don't know the future.
But yeah, that's true. But you can expose yourself to like crazy new experiences that make you think about these things.
Yeah. That's why, you have to be like on a different algo.
Yeah.
On a different continent.
Yeah. Like,
experiencing different things.
Yeah. Or just like, traveling to places no one ever has traveled to, talking to people, willing to do things. And lately, like what I love doing is working outside of normal hours. I think I mentioned this before. Like it's so nice. Like my favorite day to work, time to work is Saturday morning because no one is working on a Saturday.
Yeah.
People are hungover. They're with their family. They're out for a walk. They're sleeping in.
Yeah.
Like I love that. Like it just feels good.
Yeah. You're literally gaining ground as they watch their Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah. It's that and just like feels open.
Yeah.
So part of this is you just look good. You like to dress up, but you're also going to go talk to investors.
Yeah.
For a deal out there. You don't want to.
Well, I'm not going to talk to them today. We're going to send a deck. But I think, well, I don't want to get into it too much. We have 100 people that signed up and are using the app.
Sick.
And we employed a marketing tactic that I can't talk about, but I'll tell you on camera.
Cool.
That worked
legit
really well.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. There's a lot of different playbooks that you can run.
Yeah. Sounds good, dude.
Yeah.
What's the, what are your biggest like focuses or like challenges?
Money and time.
Wow. Relatable.
Money and time. I feel like, so I've had 3 startups that I've done this year. The first one, we had too many people on the cap table and we had basically one developer and it was too many cooks in the kitchen and we could never get the product up. And then we just got outcompeted by the OpenAI API. And then I had Content Squared, which it was a nice product. It was like nice and clean and it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Zero branding whatsoever. Marketing was like pretty bad and non-existent and like sort of tangential and just didn't work out. No product market fit.
Yeah.
But zero customers. And now we have this product in Deal Author. We got a bunch of customers and and the product's not ready. And so
That's like very ideal though. So aren't you fired up to like get things going?
yeah, honestly, that it's awesome. But now you're dealing with all these questions like, hey, I tried to do some outreach to some influencers and my agent didn't give the proper instructions.
Dude, that's sick.
And it's like, no, sorry.
It's like,
sorry, I have 100 angry customers, but it's better than 0 angry customers.
yeah, just think about that. Like when you wake up, look at a customer email. Like, that should get you fired up.
Yeah, it does. So what do we got for time? How are you doing with Oasis? I wanted to ask you actually, because you didn't say this explicitly, but you were thinking about, how you spend your time, and you were talking about Oasis, and maybe it's a better use of your time to try to 10x Oasis than constantly launch shiny new objects.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm doing Oasis and this other thing still. The other thing is actually working like more. It's like working slowly.
Oh, nice.
Week over week, which just reinforces that it literally takes time to get consistency to build it out.
Damn it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm super focused on Oasis. Like there's just validation everywhere you look. Like today we got shouted out on on my first million again.
Oh, really?
And then
again, I didn't know you had it once.
Yeah, they shouted out like 6 months ago.
Fire.
Yeah, it's also hard not to like get motivated when you have like some of the biggest influencers in the space DMing you, like the co-founder of Airbnb, like supporting you. And there's just so much to do that it's...
What's stopping you from going all in on that? Like, I feel like...
To me, I am. Okay. I just don't want to raise money. Like, I don't know how to like more go all in.
Well, you have another app that you're doing that you're spending time on and you're like marketing and building it, right? So like those are hours in the day.
Yeah, but I also feel like as long as you don't cram your schedule or you're burnt out, changing the environment will like give you new ideas in the other environment. So for example, like if I only focus on one thing, I feel like I can't see outside the box, but we're using strategies in Glow that that's the other thing, bringing to like Oasis on the marketing side and the product side.
So do you feel like you need that other thing to like refresh yourself? Like you had sent me this like video of, who's the designer, Virgil Abloh, where he was like, you got to have 5 things at once. Yeah. So like when you're not working on this thing, you're working on the other thing. Yeah. And like, you never know which one's going to pop up, but it keeps you creative. Yeah. And I feel like that. If I don't have 5 things, I can't do anything.
Yeah. I agree with that. Honestly, 5 products might be like too much. Like you never really hear of someone becoming super wealthy doing 5 things at once.
Well, for me, it's not products. Like I just started writing again. Yeah, and so like I published something last night and I'm like that because I was so pumped on Deal Author that I wanted to write this thing, and that has me more pumped to work on Deal Author. Yeah. And then like I texted you like 4 other product ideas. Yeah. And so like that's how it happens. And if I only had the one thing, you'd get bored of it, even if it's popping off like Oasis is.
Or it's just like, it goes back to what we said in the beginning. Like you can't have something like forever. So like, even though
is it safety net or
more so like the inspiration to work on Oasis or like the creative insights or like making good decisions only lasts so long. And then I get burnt out. And by the certain time in the day, I'm making bad decisions. I can't think clearly. Like I need to switch. Yeah. So it's like having those other things to switch through. Oh, and then another thing, I think Chris Williamson talked about this on a podcast, is like having multiple things going on in your life, like makes it seem like you're only winning. Like if you only had one thing going on in your life, like literally working out at the gym, one week you might not hit any PRs and you're going to have a lousy week. Yeah. But if you work out, have a business, have friends, and have a really like, you're into like gardening, and one of those things does well that week, like your cactus just does phenomenal. You had a great week. Yeah. Even if like your friend group is sucking and like you didn't hit a PR. And odds are like these things will cycle and you'll hit one of those.
Yeah. Big facts.
So I think that was like a really good sign.
Yeah, that is. All right. Fucking good chat, man.
That's right.
Wrap it. Thanks for joining us. Peace out.
Wait, so what are you doing?
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, I just put pants on because it was cold, but like I will wear this later, I guess. But
you don't wear pants in that locker?